What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with another one. Cali boys, another one. Talk about Anthony Joshua now, afternoon grind, you dig. And shout out to everybody, LDBC, YTBC, everybody in between that shit, man. I like everybody movement, but Anthony Joshua, he was very, very unhappy and disappointed because Wladimir Klitschko retired. I'm not. I'm glad Klitschko retired, man. There's no reason to go back in there. We had 20 million reasons to go back in there, but like I said in my video about Klitschko retiring, he a better man than a lot of other guys. Some people in there, some fighters, box just for the money now. Once they, once they reach half the plateau that he's reached, once people get that championship belt and get some notoriety, a lot of guys stop caring about the sport and lose the love for the sport. And Klitschko was able to walk away from the sport and walk away from $20 million for a rematch for Klitschko with his head held high because he's prepared for life after boxing. And you got to take your hats off to a guy like that. But Anthony Joshua was just trying to look for another easy payday, another route, so he doesn't have to take the route of most resistance. He's trying to take the least resistant route. He was going to do Wladimir Klitschko and POV, and then late next year, he's probably going to take another duck-ass fight. And hopefully things have shook out in his favor well, where either, Ortiz lost or injured or got hurt around that time, Wilder lost or injured or got hurt, and make his path a little bit smoother. He don't want to go through the gauntlet of dangerous fights. He don't want to do that. And in the heavyweight division, there ain't too many of those fights. Two dangerous fights for Anthony Joshua right now is Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, or Luis Ortiz. And, he would love for one of them two guys to fight it out for his sake, so he would be able to keep his WBA belt, and then not worry. And then he'd be POV real easy, get a payday, and then sometime next year he'll be able to get the rematch with he'll be able to not the rematch. He'll be able to take on the winner of Klitschko or Ortiz, so he wouldn't have to fight Ortiz and Klitschko. Ortiz and Wilder. So he wouldn't have to fight Ortiz and Wilder. I'm tripping, but that's what he wanted. That's exactly what he wanted. He wanted them two guys to take each other out, so he had to fight one instead of two. Because they want him to fight 2 times a year now, which I think is a joke. Being his young age, he should be fighting at least 3 or 4 times a year, to be honest. But maybe after he cleans out the division, he can do that. But I think he's just going to fight 2 times a year. They want him to be a main attraction. And he definitely can become a main attraction on both sides of the world. He's a big attraction over there in the UK. And America would love Anthony Joshua. I'm trying to tell you, and he love America back. He wouldn't even, he'd be stationed over here. This would be where he live at if he likes it, and I think he will like it. California, Vegas, New York, he can do all those fights and sell out those arenas every year if he wanted to. If he's promoted right now. I know he's promoted perfectly by Eddie Hearns. Eddie Hearns is giving him the best advice. Eddie Hearns got some pull behind the scenes. But basically he said that he was disappointed in Klitschko. He also said that Klitschko talking about he was obsessed with the heavyweight belt. I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. If you fail your first hurdle, you want to get up and try again. If basically if you're really obsessed, and he basically was saying that he really wasn't obsessed with becoming a champion again, and he was very disappointed about it. This was his meal ticket. He took a lot of money out of his pocket because POV, Ortiz, or Wilder, potentially Wilder, I guess if they do it in a Wembley Stadium, they could pull some numbers, but I don't think, anywhere in the heavyweight division, he can find that pay that he found with Wladimir Klitschko. And I think that's the most deflating about the situation is he was already counting his money for a rematch. And it didn't happen. But as far as for Joshua, he got to go a different route, And now Ortiz is verbally attacking him. And if he spoke English, it'd probably be a lot worse, like I spoke on it yesterday in the video. I think it would be a lot worse. So he can buy some time with with Ortiz not speaking on English. Because a lot of people don't read nothing, especially thoroughly or right. And the reason why it's important for people that talk shit and the Cuban fighters who talk shit for real, it's not a lot of good translators. A lot of translators don't get their slang. So they might say one thing and the translator might say something completely different or something that's in that realm, but not exactly what they say. From my understanding, from my Spanish people, they say Rigondeaux talks the most shit. Lara talks some shit, and Ortiz is not talking shit. But they say if Rigondeaux would speak English, it'll be a rap. He talks the most shit, and we see on Twitter he's a character, and Ortiz ain't got that. Rigondeaux ain't got it. He just got a platform on social media. If Ortiz can speak that English, it'll be a tough time for him, man. For Joshua, but Joshua, the pressure ain't completely on him yet amongst the casual fans. And the funny about it, I think Joshua can clean these motherfuckers up in order. He can clean Ortiz and Wilder up in order and just be the man. But it's all about timing, promotion, moving the right way. And it's a business. And it's always been a business. Now you're putting even more money in the game, which people don't realize about boxing now. There's even more money in boxing than there ever was. Now guys really going to move smartly. And you can't knock Joshua moving smartly. I done bashed him a few times for not handling his business. But eventually the business will get handled. And we've seen it time and time again with Floyd, Cotto, Pacquiao. It takes time. They got a business model they need to follow. And he's right for following his promoter's business model. Because when you don't follow the model and you lose, now in this day of sports, it's like walking the plank and there's no coming back once you lose. It's not like, oh, you get a free man, you can walk the plank, you can walk the line again. It's not like that. The media is the main reason why a loss is blown out of proportion like it is. And the fans and now the fighters starting to believe it. Now the promoters starting to believe a loss is catastrophic to a guy's career. So, Joshua's moving the right way. But at the end of the day, he's not moving the right way for the sport of boxing. But guess what? Us, the fans, don't give a shit, though. We want to see it. We gone.